I had to turn off all the lights in his room, and I was actually starting to see things. Hi groovy people! So today I have a very interesting kind of sit down video for you. I'm going to be talking about the time I had coronavirus. That's right, I had coronavirus, and it's kind of terrifying because I have no clue what the long-term effects of this disease entail, but we're going to try not to think about that and try to live past 30. So but yeah, before I get into this video, I really truly want to say that if I make any jokes about coronavirus throughout this video, I'm not really planning on doing that, but if I do, please know that it's all in jest. It's all to just make light out of a really dark situation. I completely understand the severity of the disease. I had the disease. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Also, my experience is not a one-size-fits-all kind of experience. There are so many other people that had way more severe symptoms than I. Some people obviously ended up dying, and I lived. I'm only making this video for educational and entertainment purposes. So please don't be mean in the comments, don't be nasty. I'm just sharing with you all my experience because I had a very mild case of coronavirus, and if I hadn't known that I was exposed to the disease through somebody that I knew that tested positive, I would have never chalked up my symptoms to coronavirus. And that's a very scary thing because we could be, you know, feeling a little bit tired and walking around willy-nilly and spreading it all over the damn place. So I'm just making this video just to kind of showcase my side of the story, what happened to me, what my symptoms were, and if you learned something from it, great. If you don't learn anything from it but you found it entertaining, great too. This is not a video that's going to be political in any way, shape, or form. I'm just explaining to you what happened to me when I found out that I was exposed to the disease and then finding out that I had the disease. I also want to say that I actually have some notes over here on the side so I know what... Whoa. You're on my video.
What's up, everyone?
We're talking about you.
You're talking about me?
Yeah, coronavirus.
Oh my goodness. Alright, well, I'll say this right now. Coronavirus is a scary thing because I'm not sure what's gonna be in a year or two.
I literally just said that. I literally just said that. I just started the video.
Really?
Yeah, I literally just started and I was like, I hope I make it past 30.
Anyway.
We're gonna have to wait and see. Oh, well, all 112 of you.
Alright, talk to me later. Call me later.
I will.
Alright, love you.
Love you too, bye. So, back to what I was saying, I do want to say that it's very important for us all, if we're not feeling well or if we're feeling off in any way, shape, or form, to go to a testing site and get tested. There are so many testing sites, and in fact, there's a bunch of testing sites that are now doing rapid testing. I actually am about to go on a trip. When I post this video, I'm going to be out of the country, and I actually had to take a coronavirus test rapidly within 72 hours of my departure. So if I can do that, you can definitely go and get a test if you're feeling sick, okay? As much as I have made jokes in the past about coronavirus in my vlogs and stuff like that, it's a very serious disease. You do not want to be spreading it. You don't want to be that person. No one wants to be the disease carrier, the disease spreader. No one wants to do that. So if you're feeling sick, go get tested. If you felt sick in the past, go get an antibody test. And hey, donate your plasma, because I can't donate my plasma because I'm less than 110 pounds. But if I could donate my plasma, I'd be donating it. There's a shortage of plasma out there, so do the things that are right. Get tested, donate blood if you did have it, and just try your best to stay indoors more often than you go out. Okay, let's get into this video, otherwise it's gonna be 45 minutes long and we don't want that. Also, before I get into the story, if you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe! What the hell are you doing? 80% of my viewers are not subscribed to me. What the hell are you doing, man? Don't you want to see me succeed? Don't you want my love? Subscribe to me, please. Please, I beg you. This is all I have. Alright, so let's get started. Let's go back in time. Let's go in the past. to early April. Early April, I was basically quarantining with my boyfriend. My boyfriend lives in New Jersey. His name is Chase. He lives in New Jersey, so in early April, I was down there, and he lives on a piece of land that's like covered with trees and plants and flowers and that sort of thing. So in the springtime, I tend to get seasonal allergies when I'm down there. So when I first got down there, I think within like a day of me being down there, I started feeling a little bit like the seasonal allergy symptoms, like a bit of, you know, a sneeze once or twice a day, maybe a little bit of like an itchy nose or a little bit of like a watery eye. To me, that's very, very normal. I get seasonal allergies so often, and it's very not out of the ordinary for me. Same thing with Chase. So the first like week and a half of me being down there, I had a bit of those symptoms. Looking back at it now, I still don't think that those were coronavirus symptoms. I do think that they were seasonal allergy symptoms, but this is gonna come into play later on in the story, because for a while we thought that the more coronavirus-y symptoms were seasonal allergy symptoms, and that's where we were wrong. So yeah, nothing really concerning or anything like that. I actually ended up taking like these nasal sprays with me that I usually use when I have allergies, and they were working just fine. So I was like, this is definitely not coronavirus. I don't have a fever, I don't have a cough, I don't have chills, nothing to worry about. So Easter Sunday ended up rolling around, and Chase and I and his family, like the family that he lives with in the house, we had like a dinner, and there was a cake. There was like a crepe cake, and I don't know what you put in crepes or crepe cakes, but Chase is allergic to nuts. It's not all nuts, but he's allergic to nuts. And that night, after we had that dinner and had that cake, Chase came up to me and said that he wasn't feeling very well. He said that he had like a bit of an itchy kind of throat, and he was starting to cough a little bit. And he also had like a bit of like a hivey kind of rash on his face. And the only other time that I saw him have anything dermatological like that was when he ate nuts and he had like a severe allergic reaction. So in my head, I was thinking, all right, the crepe cake had some sort of nut in it and he's having an allergic reaction. Again, I did not think coronavirus at all. No one ever said a hivey rash on your face was a sign of coronavirus back in early April like that. He was getting a little bit nervous. He's a bit of a hypochondriac sometimes, so he was like, I hope I don't have coronavirus. I was like, babe, you don't have coronavirus. Don't worry about it. That could be your allergies again. Again, we were thinking seasonal allergies. Maybe he ate something that he was allergic to. We were thinking allergy symptoms, not coronavirus symptoms. But we took his temperature that night anyway, just to see. No fever. So that was Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday, and I guess like the first half of Wednesday, Chase was feeling, I don't want to say it got worse, but he was definitely coughing more frequently, and the itch in his throat feeling wasn't going away. That's when I started thinking maybe he has this thing, but at the same time, I really wasn't thinking that, because again, I was still feeling a little bit of like nose allergy stuff, and Chase is the kind of person that does a lot of coughing and hacking up of things, okay? He does like the loogie things, and I don't know, he like gags and stuff. He's kind of throaty, if that makes any sense. He's always going I don't know why, but that's just him. So when he was coughing those few days after Easter Sunday, I was like, this is just regular ass Chase right now. This is nothing to worry about. It also wasn't like a whooping cough. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a kind of cough. It was just like a which isn't even much of a cough. It's more of like a clearing of the throat. So that Wednesday, it was April 15th, he ended up doing like a telemedicine visit with his doctor. And the whole like intention behind the telemed visit was that he wanted to just talk to his doctor and try to get like some allergy meds prescribed to him or whatever. And the doctor said, listen, if it was any other year or time, I would say just take some Benadryl and call it a day. But because we don't know anything about this disease, we gotta be safe rather than sorry. You should get tested for COVID. All hell kind of broke loose after that. The whole house was like, oh no, this is not good. For good reason, obviously. That's when it kind of hit me like, oh shit, maybe has this virus. Leading up to it, I was just thinking like, nah, he's just coughing. Like, it's just like a little bit of a cough. He didn't have any other symptoms. See, that's the weird thing. He had no other symptoms. No fever, no chills, no digestion issues, no like soreness or like sluggishness, nothing of the sort. Just a little bit of like a tickle in the throat. Anyway, he got that message from his doctor and it was kind of freaky. I don't really remember exactly, but I think he got tested not the next day, but the day after. So I think he got tested on that Friday. Now, at the time, on Wednesday, I was feeling fine, right? I was feeling normal, relatively. Then on Thursday, so the next day, Chase had like an acting class over Zoom. So he was in his basement and I was up in his room, and it was that night, that Thursday night, I had a huge bad headache. Now, mind you, I am the type of person that gets headaches very often, sometimes very severely. It's just like my symptom. Whenever I feel tired, hungry, have a cold, whatever, I always get a headache. That's just my symptom. That and nausea. You're gonna see that play into the rest of the story. That night though, it was a bit different, and it really takes a lot for me to say that because I'm very used to headaches, okay? This headache was one of those like kind of like splitting headaches. I had to turn off all the lights in his room and I was actually starting to see things. I wasn't hallucinating, but the headache was so bad that like I was seeing blotches in my vision. The headache was so bad that I ended up having to take Tylenol and ibuprofen. So I took 2 doses of 2 different pain meds, and even after those 2 different doses, I still had a headache. It was much better, but it was still there. Looking back at it now, I'm pretty certain that that was the beginning of my symptoms. So possibly that was my start of my coronavirus journey. It was just weird. Oh, and of course, because I had such a huge migraine, I was nauseated from it. So then, I'm pretty sure that Friday the 17th, Chase went to go get the coronavirus test. We ended up going to like a drive-in testing site, and I ended up going with him because I just felt so bad for him and I was just scared for him. I just wanted to be there for him, so I was in the car with him. It was bad, like the swab going up his nose. I felt so bad for him. He was flailing. He was going like this. It was just so sad. It was really sad. So yeah, he got the test done. It was pretty much like in and out. And then that day is when I started to feel kind of off. I don't really know how to explain it other than it was a feeling of just there was something wrong. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel like I had a cold. I didn't feel like I had a flu. I didn't feel like I had a stomach flu. It almost felt like depression. Okay, now hear me out. Depression without the mental element of depression. So only the physical symptoms of depression. So like the feeling of extreme fatigue, like you can't get out of the bed. The thought of getting out of the bed and doing something is just so exhausting. And then on top of that, I was feeling nausea, which again is a very common symptom of mine. Whenever there's something even slightly wrong with me, I'll feel nauseous. Yeah, it just felt like I was just out of it. Like my body was just kind of checking out. Aside from that though, I really didn't have that many symptoms. I didn't have a fever. I didn't have a cough. Just like a really like sluggish, weighed down kind of feeling. Like you're in shackles almost. One of those days, I think it may have been Friday, during the night, I was experiencing extreme pain in my legs. Like a soreness almost. It felt like growing pains. Feels like your limbs are like elongating kind of a thing. It was an achy feeling. It was, I guess that's what it was. It was achiness. I felt that one night and it was pretty bad. Bad enough to the point where it was waking me up in the middle of the night and I had to like reposition my legs in order to get that feeling under control. It went away after one night, so I didn't really think anything of it. And so for basically that whole weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, while we were waiting for his results, I just pretty much felt like, but again, it was not a sick feeling. Like it was just like a lazy, tired, just I don't want to leave my bed kind of feeling like. In fact, there was one day, I don't even remember what day this was, but there was one day where Chase and I both were just out of it. We were in the bed all day long. We were watching the whole HBO miniseries Chernobyl in that whole day. Like we were just in the bed watching Chernobyl. That show is crazy. It's gruesome. I don't recommend watching it when you're sick with coronavirus, but I definitely recommend you watching it when you're healthy and enjoying your life and you're not thinking that you're gonna die. So just kind of feeling like it wasn't getting any worse. It wasn't getting any better. Pretty consistent. And then Wednesday, April 22nd rolled around and Chase calls up the testing site and the doctor at the testing site says, "Congrats, you're positive." I was like, oh no. I was shaking. I was so anxious. I was like, man, I can't believe it, man. That's when it hit me that like everything that I was feeling was symptoms of coronavirus now at that point, because at the time when I was experiencing the symptoms before I knew that Chase was positive, I was just like, I just feel out of it. I've had many times in my life where I felt that way, like really sluggish. I mean, I can think of times last year that I felt that way. But at that point, Wednesday, when I found out that he tested positive, that's when I knew that my extreme fatigue and everything was connected to coronavirus. At that point, Chase actually was feeling much better. His cough was pretty much gone at that point. The doctor was like, okay, that's great. Just you gotta wait a little bit more time in order to go back into the world, but as long as you're not like having like a huge fever or any, you know, sort of worsening symptoms, you're good. Hello? An apology call from my electric utility. The doctor also said that whoever was in the house with Chase, so me and his parents basically, assumed that we all have it. He said that there is no reason for us to go get tested because we're just gonna test positive. He even said like if you were to go get tested and you test negative, that would be a false negative. So don't get tested. Just know that you're positive, kind of a thing. And I was like, great, great. I have corona. I have corona. So this is important to note. I never tested positive for the virus. I did, however, test positive for the antibodies later on, so I knew that I had it, and obviously I did because I was experiencing symptoms and I was in close contact with somebody that did have it. So again, at that point, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, everything was kind of the same. I was just sleeping a lot more than usual. General malaise, I guess is the right terminology for what I was feeling. And then Saturday morning rolled around, and this is when I started to get really scared because Saturday morning I woke up and I had an itchy throat and I said, oh no, this is where it's gonna start getting bad now. I kind of freaked myself out. I took like a bunch of Dayquil, NyQuil. I do want to say what I was taking. I was taking Dayquil, NyQuil. I was drinking a whole lot of tea with honey. Sorry, vegans. And I was taking a lot of like vitamin C and vitamin D and that sort of thing. So that's what I was taking to try to like get recovered from it. But that particular Saturday morning, I was kind of getting scared, so I took a bunch of Dayquil, I drank a lot of tea, and then I went back to sleep. I woke up in the morning, took a bunch of stuff, and then went back to sleep. And then I actually woke up later on without the itchy throat. That was pretty much like the only throat symptoms that I had. And then I think like that weekend, I don't know, I was kind of anxious and my dad was kind of like on the phone with me because he was in Queens and he was like all upset that I was sick and stuff. So I do remember I had a bit of chest pain. I don't know if that's from anxiety or if that was from the disease, but I do think that's something important to say. I did have a little bit of chest pain. And then like around the 29th of April, which was I think the Wednesday of the following week. So at that point I was feeling much better. This was like the end of my like symptoms basically. But I started developing a really weird discoloration on my hand. I don't even know how to describe it other than it kind of looked like a varicose vein on my hand. It looked like a line kind of going up from like here all the way up here. It wasn't a rash. It just looked like a discoloration or a bruise. I thought it was so weird. I never have symptoms like that, ever. This is the first time that I ever had like a dermatological symptom to any disease. I never get rashes, discoloration, anything dermatological when I'm sick. So I guess that was like my weird symptom. Everybody has like a different weird symptom, it seems, but that was definitely mine. And it lasted for a while. It lasted for, I want to say like 3 weeks, and that was like way after I recovered. So very, very weird. And to this day my dermatologist does not know what it was. She kept on saying like, I don't think it's COVID related, but I don't know, I guess it could be. And then also toward the end, like past the 29th, This was like at the time now when I was going to come home, so like early May now at this point. I did have like a little bit of digestion issues that could have just been from something that I ate, but I don't know. I think it's worth to put out there. I did have a little bit of like tummy aches and, you know, just going to the bathroom a little bit more often, but that was at the very end of my recovery. Around the time of my digestion issues, it was about like 2.5, 3 weeks after I probably like came in contact with the disease. I don't know if it was part of it, who knows. And then, you know, I basically recovered and just ended up going back home. And then as soon as I got back home, I actually took an antibody test and I tested positive. I would say the weirdest thing for me was the fact that nobody in the house developed a fever. Nobody in the house had chills. And really, if you think about it, only really Chase had the cough. His father had a little bit of like an itchy throat at one point, but he wasn't like coughing. And it wasn't a severe cough from either one of them. So basically the three like main symptoms that the CDC was like hyping up at the time, really none of us in the house got it. And we all were so mild in symptoms. So it's just very, very strange to me that we all ended up being totally fine. Nobody was like on their deathbed. Thank God. Thank God. Again, it just goes to show if you're feeling a little bit under the weather, even if it's something weird like a discoloration on your skin that you've never seen before, maybe you shouldn't go out to brunch, even though the restaurants are open, because you may be spreading this without you even knowing. This is such a weird disease and it's just not something to play around with. I'm so lucky that I had a mild case, Chase had a mild case, and his parents did as well, and we all kind of got out of it on the other side pretty much fine. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very lucky, and I'm glad that it ended up the way it ended up. For a while after my recovery, like even after I tested positive for the antibodies and I did all that, I was still a bit achy, still a bit lethargic, and even up until now, it's July 28th as I film this. I have a little bit of shortness of breath. I have a little bit of chest pain here and there. I don't know. I don't know what the long-term effects of this virus are, so I'm just gonna have to keep on monitoring myself. All I know is that I'm trying my best to eat right. I'm not drinking alcohol now. I'm staying hydrated and taking all my vitamins, so I'm really trying to just keep my body in check, really. That's pretty much my coronavirus story. It's really not anything too exciting, but again, I think my story is worth sharing because of how mild it was. Listen to your body. Please listen to your body and eat right, stay hydrated, and just try to stay indoors as much as you can in the nice AC instead of sweating your balls off, spreading coronavirus everywhere. If you guys have it in your heart to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd love to have you. I love every single one of my subscribers. They're my little friends, my little virtual friends. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment below if you have a coronavirus story. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to reply to you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with me, and hopefully this video isn't too long. Bye bye. Stay healthy, stay safe, don't catch coronavirus, don't spread coronavirus, because I will find you. Just kidding. I love you. Bye bye.